afternoon. Ms. Larson, correct? Okay. Yep. I know Chuck told you. Feel free to move around. You can move that mic around as well, as long as you're speaking right into it. There you go. Yeah, but if you get too close, sometimes you can hear the breathing. So, okay, go ahead and raise your right hand. Do you swear or affirm the testimony you're about to provide is true and accurate?
I do.
Thank you. Mr. Jorde?
Please state your name.
Marie Larson.
And Ms. Larson, you own land through your trust in Clay County, and there are two parcels that are potentially negatively affected by the proposed Summit Hazardous Pipeline. Is that right?
Yes.
And in preparation for today, your opposition, you've prepared pre-filed testimony, written question and answer. Is that correct?
Yes.
And do you have any material corrections that need to be made to that testimony?
No.
And do you have any updates of any events or facts that have occurred since you submitted that testimony you need to update?
No.
If I would ask you every question posed to you in your pre-filed testimony, would your answers today be substantially similar?
Yes.
With that, I would offer Exhibit 71.
No objection. With no objections, the board will admit.
I will tender the witness for cross-examination.
Mr. Taylor?
Thank you. Ma'am, I'm Wally Taylor. I represent the Sierra Club. In your prepared written testimony, you talked about the drainage tile on your property. Is it your claim that the tile will be damaged by the pipeline?
Yes, I'm sure, because I have no tile maps at all. So the only one that I know for sure that's there is a dredge ditch that Clay County cleaned out. But otherwise, I don't have any clue where all the rest of the drainage ditches are. So I'm sure they'll probably run into some.
So is this drainage tile that was put there quite some years ago?
I'm not sure. My brother, who's now deceased, bought this piece of ground in 1989. In March, later that year, he found out he had health problems. And in 1995, he could no longer make the payment because pigs, at that time, my sister-in-law said, were 8 cents a hundred. So it was going to go to a second mortgage, or the bank was going to take over. So that's when my folks stepped up and took it over, and then later it went into the trust, and that's how I received it in 2015.
Well, did you or somebody in your family talk to Summit agents about your concerns about damage to the tile?
Damage to the tile, all of them, you mean? No, I don't think so.
Well, maybe I can clarify the question.
Okay.
You said in your written testimony you're concerned about the pipeline damaging a drainage tile, and I'm wondering if you ever discussed that concern with anybody from Summit.
No.
Why not?
I don't know. I'm a farmer's daughter, but I really haven't had anything to do with the farm ground, really, since I left home.
Okay.
A few years back.
So, who in your family would have been talking to Summit representatives?
I was.
Oh.
I had 5 people there to talk to me. Well, at least 2 of them, but there was 5 of them that contacted me.
Okay. So what kind of discussions did you have with them?
Well, the first one, he really liked my quilt. And the last one, Carl was just a very nice lady. We just had, she'd explained that if you took this amount of money, you could take it over a 3-year period. That's about all I remember right now.
But do you understand that Summit says that they will, construct the pipeline at least 2 feet below your tile so it won't damage the tile?
Yeah, but if we don't know where they're at, how are they gonna be able to follow through with that?
Sure. Would you understand that the Summit says that if they do damage any tile, that they'll repair it?
I really have not a lot of faith in that. And then if it was, you can't get anybody else to go in there and fix it for you, I'm pretty sure, so nobody else would want to touch it. So,
You also said that the pipeline, in your opinion, would have a negative effect and impact on your land. What makes you think it would have a negative impact on your land?
well, I didn't finish my story about my family. Like I said, 1995, my folks took over ownership of the land. It went in the trust. My dad died in 2012, my mother in 2014, and then my brother that had bought it died in 2017, and he had farmed it for me from 2015 to 2017, and then his son took it over, and his mom had said to me once, Marie, if you ever want to sell this land, Levi wants to buy it back. And so when I got the offers in, I called Levi and I said, Levi, are you interested in buying that ground back again if it's got a pipeline on it? And he said, no.
So do you think that the pipeline would decrease the value of the land?
Oh, yes. Yeah.
You've also said in your written testimony that you think the pipeline would be a negative impact on your financial future. What do you mean by that?
Well, I depend on that besides my Social Security check, and if he can't farm as many acres, I'm not going to get as much cash rent, so.
But can't you farm over the pipeline once it's in the ground?
I wouldn't want to. With the things, you know, if it breaks or something, it'd be safer to stay way away from there. The original plan was to be down over by the road, but then they changed it to be over by the fence line. And I think that's a better place for it, is over there, so there's no buildings or anything on it, so they could go in, you know, and just stay away from it.
Can we bring up the KMZ file, please? Do you see the map on the screen there?
Yep.
Does that appear to be your land in the red?
Yep.
And it looks like the proposed pipeline route would go vertically along the west side of your property. Is that correct?
Correct.
And did you suggest an alternative route?
No.
Okay. Is there one that you could think of?
Well, I'm not positive. I'm not sure if that's my nephew's farm there.
Well, who owns the property just to the west of the red area?
I'm not positive.
Okay.
Can we see a bigger area of it? Just
Sure.
Yeah, that's almost gotta be my nephew's.
Where?
That, on the bottom road, by the bottom of the, I suppose, that'd be the south. Would that be the north side or the south side?
Well, north is at the top.
Well, I guess I haven't been down there enough to know.
Okay. Okay. Yeah, but I take it you haven't talked to anybody from Summit about an alternative route?
I think I did say something, one time about going over the road, and they said they couldn't.
Like over the road, what do you mean?
To the east,
Oh. But off of your land?
yes.
Okay. You recall about when that was you had that conversation?
No, it would have been early on, though.
Okay. Okay. Thank you, that's all the questions I have.
Okay, if there's no other questions, Mr. Jorde. Okay, hold on. Ms. Kaufman, did you have a question?
Just one quick question about your land agents. Did you say you had 5 different land agents? Did I understand that correctly?
Yes.
Okay, and you felt you were treated well by all of them, is that correct? Okay. And may I have another question, please? You don't live here, correct? You don't live, your nephew farms the land now.
Yeah. I live
But
fairly now.
But he lives fairly close, correct?
Yes. Yes. He lives, in fact, it was checked, and my niece lives a third of a mile away. He lives 2/3 of a mile away. And my sister-in-law, my brother that passed away, his wife lives 1 mile and 4/10 away.
So in your pre-filed testimony here, you do say that they offered you $250,000, but the project goes against what you stand for. Could you expound on that a little bit for me, please? Why does this project go against what you believe?
Objection, Your Honor.
State the objection.
Again, this is not proper cross. This is eliciting supplemental direct testimony to expand on rather than to challenge what is in the pre-filed testimony. That is not the purpose of cross-examination.
Am I cross-examining? I didn't understand I was cross-examining. I was just getting to expound on what she put in her pre-file testimony.
Everything we're doing now is cross-examining except for when Mr. Jorde redirects. So theoretically, the opposing parties cross-examine the witness,
Okay.
and then Mr. Jorde would redirect.
So I'm not quite sure I understand that, but can I ask a different question, or
Yeah, of course.
so you have stated that you don't believe that you will benefit substantially from this project?
No.
No. And what do you think is the benefit of this project? For you.
For me,
Yes.
I can't see any benefit at all. Even if I got money, and I split it 4 ways, a fourth for my daughter, a fourth for my son, and a fourth for my nephew, and a fourth for myself. By the time we get done paying income tax, I don't think there's going to be much left, and then you still have farm ground that I can't farm, or that my nephew can't farm.
So you think that, if I understand this correctly, you're saying that you believe that retaining the land has much more value to you than taking whatever they're offering?
Yes.
Okay. And did you state in your pre-file testimony that you do have concerns for your safety of your family because of this?
Very much so.
Did you want to say anything else about that?
Well, it's half of my brother's family that's left lives there within a mile and 4/10. You know, it could take every one of them if there was a break. My sister-in-law is like my sister.
No further questions, thank you.
Okay, Ms. Coles?
Good morning. Afternoon. I'm Jean Colas of Family Colas Family Farms. I just have a quick question. You indicated that you had contact with 5 different agents from Summit. Did they at any time bring up to you the risks or hazards of having a pipeline on your land?
No.
So there was no discussion whatsoever. Thank you. No further questions.
Okay, Mr. Jorde for redirect. Oh, I'm sorry. Board Member Byrd.
Thank you. Miss Larson, I just want, if we can go back to the KMZ map, I just want to clean that questioning up just a little bit. So, the red box that we're looking at right there is the Exhibit H parcel, and you understand that part, right? Correct?
Mm-hmm.
Okay. So then, directly to the west of that, or to your left, is that also part of your farmland or not?
No.
Okay. And then you made mention of something briefly when you were talking with Mr. Taylor about something about a fence line and that the route had changed. Can you just expand on that a little bit now that we have the map in front of us?
Okay, well, oops. I think this was the original, or if that's the road, I'm not sure what it is, but.
So, and I'll help you out with that. So that is the proposed pipeline. So that white line is the proposed pipeline.
I was sure they changed it over here of the other one. And this is along the fence.
Okay, so I'm looking at the KMZ here. So what would be to your right side of that field would be the road. And then that white line on the left-hand side of your field, or the west side, that would be the proposed pipeline as it's presented today.
Okay.
So then I'm curious if you had something different proposed to you at an earlier point in time than what we're seeing today.
Yeah.
And that, I believe what you stated was more to your road side of your field, correct? To your right?
Let me see. That's the north side. Okay. Yep, that was to the road side. Yeah, that's the original plan, and then they moved it over to the fence line.
Perfect. I just wanted to clarify and clean that up. So I really appreciate that. Thank you.
You're welcome.
Okay. Now, Mr. Jorde.
And please leave the map up. So, and now I just want to be clear. Are you stating, ma'am, now that you understand that the white skinny line on the left or west-hand side of your parcels is the proposed route, are you stating that's better than the route that would have been closer to the road or the yellow line on the east side of your property?
Yes.
Okay. But you had preferred and requested that the route go east of the north-south road, which is the eastern boundary of your parcels, correct? Yes?
Yep, I'm pretty sure I did. Yep.
Okay. And
But the way it come out of Terrell, Iowa, they couldn't move it that way.
why?
Because, I don't know,
Yeah.
Terrell is on the east side of that road, and so they didn't, then they had to go way out, or,
Is that your guess? I mean, the fact of the matter is they didn't tell you why. They couldn't move it, right?
Yeah.
You understand, of course they could move it, right? They just don't want to move it. Do you understand that?
yeah.
Okay. All right. Thank you, ma'am. Appreciate it.
Mm-hmm.
All right, thank you, Ms. Larson. You're excused. Mr. Jorde, your next witness?
Matthew Valen?
Okay. And just for housekeeping purposes, will Matthew and Dennis Valen be testifying today?
Yep, there's different parcels, different ownership.
No problem. Thank you. Perfect. Appreciate it.